Welcome to the final day of our final edition for 2023, our Live Trader Showcase. This is a quarterly event. This is Sherry, of course, your hostess, and this is a quarterly event where we feature expert traders to bring you trainings, tips, hints, and insights from many speakers. This time we happen to have 20. Prize giveaways. Please check out tradersexclusive.com where we put up our posts and our articles and video clips that have nuggets, golden nuggets for you to learn new trading tips and techniques. Before I get started, I do have to do the disclaimer. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time. Past performance, of course, is not necessarily indicative of future results. This is our lineup for today. Michael, Daniel, Kenny, AJ, Michael again, Harry Boxer. Then if you need to reach me, it's support@tradersexclusive.com. And I want to thank our December sponsors. We have blue chip sponsors, Market Taker Mentoring, Hit and Run Candlesticks, and Vantagepoint Software, Vantagepoint AI. And also Mumu was one of. Just want to let you know that one of our sponsors this month is Vantagepoint Software, and Daniel Santiago is joining us. He's going to talk about how to find explosive trades for tomorrow. Lane Mendelson is the president and company owner of Vantagepoint AI LLC. He and his father, Louis, have made it their life mission to empower traders by providing them a dual patented artificial intelligence trading software called Vantagepoint. This software provides a massive trading edge that has been proven and tested and used successfully for over 30 years by real traders. As the vice president, Daniel has been working for with Lane for over a decade. He's responsible for trader education. He teaches traders proven strategies, techniques, and indicators capable of generating market forecasts with accuracy up to 87.4%. He has over 25 years of experience in the markets, specializing in stocks and options, as well as many other asset classes like ETFs and futures. It's his mission to take the time to teach traders not only the what, but the how and the why. So Daniel, I really appreciate you being with us.
Thank you for that intro. I'm going to turn on my webcam really quickly just for a second because I'd like to just say hi to everybody, say good morning, happy holidays. Today I'm in the Tampa Bay area, and today's a really, really great day from a weather standpoint. Just good day to be outside. As soon as you're done with your trading, as soon as you shut down your computer, this is one of those days where it's great to go for. Thank you, Sherry. I've got a lot of experience in this platform as well, GoToWebinar, so I'm hopefully I won't break anything on you. Thank you for giving me the time. But hello, everybody, and as Sherry said, my name is Daniel. We're going to be talking about how to find explosive trades for tomorrow. Now, we're not just talking about day trading. What we're talking about are getting advanced notice of trends before they take off, specifically designed for swing traders. Anybody looking to hold a trade, an options position or something from a day to a couple of days to a couple of weeks, heck, even a few months. We'll look at some of those, but finding that entry early is the key. And some of the examples, because a lot of people hear explosive, sure, for tomorrow, what does that mean? Let me just show you a quick example. This is Tesla at the beginning of the year. And what I'm going to be teaching today found this opportunity before it took off and gained 70% right off the jump. This is the whole trade that you see on the screen. I'm going to walk you through the details today, how this was identified, how it was notified, and how traders were able to utilize it using artificial intelligence. But before we get into that, let me just give you a quick background. As Sherry said, I've got over 25 years experience in the financial markets. I do a lot of live seminar and webinar education. I might have seen you at Money Show or Traders Expo or AAII, or in Tampa here, we bring our Vantagepoint family members and users of these strategies to Tampa. So if I've met you before, nice to see you again. If this is the first time, nice to meet you. I dedicate my time, energy, and effort to helping traders utilize better tools and better information in the financial markets. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera now so that we can dive in. I just wanted to say hello and good morning, and this way I won't have my face up there distracting you. How about that? All right, so quick reminder, we're going to be talking about trading, and trading involves risk, so you shouldn't be trading with money you can't afford to lose. That's why trading capital is usually called risk capital. No matter what I teach today, there is no perfect solution. We're working on stacking the odds in your favor, and we will be talking about highly accurate forecasts, but you still got to have good money management. I'll share some user experiences with you today, and I'm sharing those with you so you know what other people have said, but I'm not, I haven't verified their trades. Their results may be atypical, and I'm just sharing with you anecdotally what they're saying. And we're going to spend our time right in the Vantagepoint software walking through the details. So let's dive in. When I say forecasting trends with accuracy up to 87.4%, Sherry, the first thing that people usually say to me is, prove it. Right? Prove it. And I get that. I understand that. And we looked at that one Tesla example. That was a real example. Here's an AMD example, right? Explosive trade identified right there. 55% gain in one trade right there at the end of 2021. See, the software that I'm talking about and the strategies I'm talking about date back to 1979. That's when our company was started. The artificial intelligence that I'm going to be teaching you to utilize today, that's been helping traders since 1991, over 32 years. And it also works on futures markets and stocks. Here's an explosive trade in the bonds that's happening right now. This is an active current forecast that's already produced over $11,000 per contract. And this was identified very early on in November, and traders utilizing this technology are able to really maximize these opportunities. So I'm going to walk everybody through how to do this on your own today. And I'll take the time to show you the what, the how, and the why behind it. But I also want to show you the who, right? I think it's important you understand where this came from. You heard Sherry talk a little bit about the Mendelsons. They're on your screen right now. The gentleman on your right, that is Lou Mendelson. Lou Mendelson's our founder. He started the company back in 1979. He's a Carnegie Mellon alumnus. He learned about artificial intelligence in the 70s, and he was able to combine his ability to create trading indicators that were doing back testing. Now, he was the first person to release back testing to the public. That was back in 79. He combined that knowledge and expertise with AI that he learned from Carnegie, and he created Vantagepoint. And that was in 1991. He created it, get this, after Black Monday. A lot of you probably remember Black Monday or have heard of it, read about it, whatever the case is. He realized that when the market systematically crashed around the world, there was a connection, a global connection. And that's when he started utilizing artificial intelligence. Now, the gentleman on the left is his son. That's Lane Mendelson. He is our president. He's a financial analyst, AI expert. I call him a second generation phenom. And you've probably seen some of his stuff on CNN Money, NASDAQ, Yahoo Finance. As a matter of fact, I have a quick video I want to show you guys. Sherry loaded it up for me, so let me just find it really quickly, and it'll tell you a little bit more about the Mendelsons. I think you'll appreciate this. Here we go. Thank you, Sherry. You got it ready?
Lane Mendelson's company has developed a way to transform the lives of people.
Lane Mendelson, the president of Vantagepoint Software.
Lane Mendelson.
Lane Mendelson.
Lane Mendelson, president of Vantagepoint AI.
Joining me in the studio today is Lane Mendelson.
Right now, we're going to go out to Lane Mendelson, president of Vantagepoint.
Can everybody hear? I'm joined as a attendee, but also in my organizer role, and I can't hear it in the attendees. So can you guys let us know if you can hear it?
Yep, they can hear it. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chris. Peter, appreciate that. Let me play it again.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Thank you for that, Jerry.
Also a technology expert, market analyst.
With me is the president of Vantagepoint AI, Lane Mendelson.
Welcome to the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. I'm Jane King, and with me today is Lane Mendelson, the president of Vantagepoint AI.
Your artificial intelligence software was able to predict the January market drop.
Your company forecasted that the tech stocks erased all the gains for the year.
What's the criteria you use at Vantagepoint when you look at a stock?
We're doing a very advanced form of pattern recognition using artificial intelligence.
My father was here in New York in 1994 on CNBC television talking about artificial intelligence and forecasting the financial markets. This was before anyone was talking about AI.
My company's been involved with artificial intelligence for 30 years. This is the future.
You're talking about thousands and thousands of data points being analyzed every single day. A human could not do this.
If you're not analyzing all of those other factors, you're not seeing the full picture. To really gain an edge in today's global markets, you have to have a global approach.
Vantagepoint Software 的主席 Len， 那他和我们一起分享一下股票投资。
It's all about having the odds in your favor. Our focus is the technology. That stacks the odds. That gives the traders such a tremendous advantage in the markets. And that is what our goal is to continue to provide that edge. And through our hard-earned efforts and our research and development, I'm confident we're going to continue to do that.
In the last 10 years, we've spent over $10 million in research and development, developing the technology.
A couple of days ago, we said tech stocks were going to start to go up, and look what today happened. I mean, the Dow had a tremendous day today.
Our philosophy is if we can't predict it with a very high degree of accuracy, why bother? There are so many other stocks that we can forecast with such a high degree of accuracy.
For us, over 30 years of commitment to AI, for us, this is not a fad. This is not a buzzword. This is something we've been dedicated to, and we will remain dedicated to for the decades to come.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to watch that. As I said, it's just remarkable what the Mendelsons have been able to do, and you can see in that video, that clip, it's a short video, but it shows you a lot of what I was just talking about a moment ago. Artificial intelligence to the Vantagepoint organization is not new. And Reg, I just saw your question here about you're familiar with Vantagepoint and you're an old user. Are we using the new GPT server and Google that Google's talking about and their new AI? That's the great thing about this. They're talking about new generative AI, artificial intelligence that they've just come up with recently. The Vantagepoint organization and the Mendelsons have been applying and utilizing artificial intelligence since the late 80s and released it in 91. So the generative AI we've been using is cutting edge, but it's not new. It's revolutionary. It's being enhanced on a consistent basis. So thank you again for your questions. And I got my eye on the questions box. So if anybody pops in a question or you've got something you want to dig into and I can answer it, I'm happy to answer it as well. But now that you know the who behind this, I want to give you a little bit more information how you can apply this to yourself and what it's doing. I talked about the 1987 market crash and how those global markets crashed systematically. Well, that's what we are utilizing to generate predictions that are up to 87.4% accurate 1 to 3 days in advance. We're using the fact that there are global connections out there, because if you can use the global connections to your advantage, you can put yourself in a very, very powerful position to find trends like this. Here's the latest Bitcoin trend, right? An explosive move identified back here in September, and it's a 50% increase to date. How did the Vantagepoint software and the strategy that I'm teaching today help traders capitalize on that? It's the global market analysis, and to be specific, it's something called intermarket analysis. Intermarket analysis is a patented process that we have here at the Vantagepoint software. There's nobody else in the world that's using it, and it has the ability to find hidden patterns and relationships around the world. Let me give you some examples. If you look at your screen right now, I've got two charts. I've got AMD and the E-mini NASDAQ up on the screen. All right, and you can see that when AMD went up, the NASDAQ went up. That's because these two markets have a parallel relationship. There may be some people here in today's session, Sherry, that think or believe that the NASDAQ pushes AMD up. Other people might believe that AMD pulls the NASDAQ up. Regardless of what you believe, and we're probably all on the same page, it's obvious these have a parallel relationship. When one goes up, it can have an impact on the other one. Well, volatility doesn't change that. Here's a financial sector ETF, XLF, and Bank of America. When one goes up, the other goes up. When one goes down, the other goes down, because they also have a parallel relationship. Well, by the way, if you're in this session and you can hear my voice, this is something that you can do on your own right now if you wanted to. If you're looking to get into a position on Bank of America, simply go look at XLF, because we know they have a parallel relationship, and see if you're getting the same sentiment from your tools related to XLF. No special equipment required. You can do that view, you can do that analysis on your own. You just have to know how important it is. And hopefully from today's conversation, you realize how important that truly is. You just have to understand one thing. Not all relationships are parallel relationships like that. Some are inverse relationships, like a lot of the times S&P 500 and gold. But we're talking about parallel relationships. We're talking about inverse relationships. Some of them are inconsistent, like the S&P 500 and gold. There's some times of the year where they go together, where they are parallel. And that's where this kind of analysis, to get really to the level that you should need to, is humanly impossible. It's impossible for me to do it myself without the benefit of artificial intelligence. You see, artificial intelligence has the ability to forecast trends, has the ability to analyze information, has the ability to process millions and millions of data points instantaneously. And that's how we're using it. That's how we've been using it since 1991, when it was released for individual traders, right? Reg, I'm not sure how long ago you said you were an old user. I don't know how long ago you were using the software, but you know this isn't a new software program. But the technology was cutting edge then in the late 80s when we started doing it, and you've heard nothing but artificial intelligence in the last couple of years, which means the Mendelsons were decades and decades and decades ahead of all the people jumping on the artificial intelligence bandwagon right now. And let's just really quickly, let me just take an aside here. You're hearing about AI from everywhere and you don't know what's good, what isn't, what's new, what's old. You got to understand one thing. The real artificial intelligence that can really, really help you wasn't just created, right? It's not new. It's been refined. We've refined ours. Heck, we put over $10 million into artificial intelligence in the last 10 years alone to make sure it stays cutting edge. But if somebody is telling you they've been working on this new AI and they've developed this new AI in the last couple of years, the last 5 years, 6 years, and they've just now released it, they're about 25 years behind the real revolution in artificial intelligence. And I'm excited and I'm happy and I'm honored to be able to sit here in front of everybody and tell you that we've been helping traders just like you with artificial intelligence since '91, and it is patented. What is that patent doing? I'll tell you right now. It's looking for hidden patterns and relationships. I like to use this iceberg as an example. Sherry, when you think about an iceberg, and everybody that's listening here, the part of the ice that you can see above the waterline, those are like those obvious connections that we were just talking about with AMD and the NASDAQ. You can see those with the naked eye. They don't take any special equipment, just like this iceberg. But the majority of the ice in an iceberg is below the waterline. You can't see it with the naked eye. You need cameras. You need technology. You need something, sonar. I mean, just think about the Titanic. If the Titanic had equipment that they could see the ice under the waterline, they probably wouldn't have crashed. Well, it's the same thing when you think about your trading account. If you can find and use those hidden patterns and relationships to your advantage, well, then you can put yourself in a well, like I like to say, the catbird seat. You can find explosive trends if you know how to use that information. And by the way, for everybody that's in here, if you want to dig in deep and ask some more questions in another session, you can go to easytradingtool.com. Sherry, if you put easytradingtool.com into the chat for everybody, that's a way where you can sign up to get some more training and education based on what we're talking about, because you know, I've got an hour here today. I'm going to do as much as I can in that hour, but you might have some more questions. So if you do, just go to easytradingtool.com, and we'll be happy to dig in a little bit deeper with you if we need to. I just wanted to put that out there for everybody if you're interested. But when you think about this, these hidden patterns and relationships, these interactions, they're there, they're real, and they're influencing what you're trading every single day. And right now, unfortunately, they're hurting you rather than helping you. And I want to change that. So let me show you how the artificial intelligence is doing that. I'm going to bring up the Vantagepoint software. Here we go. You should see Vantagepoint on your screen. I've got Boeing pulled up here. On the left-hand side, you can see the AI is capable of forecasting for futures, Forex, ETFs, stocks, Canadian stocks, cryptocurrencies. There, in the stock sectors alone, there's over 16 individual sectors. We break them down by sector so that traders can follow the money and use sector rotation to their advantage. You can see that. There you go. Now, why I came over here is because I want to show you, for instance, I'm going to bring up Southwest Airlines, and I want to literally show you under the hood. I'm going to pop the hood and show you what the AI is doing. Right now on your screen, what you should see is like a diagram that has Southwest Airlines right in the middle. And if you can see that, this is what we would call Southwest Airlines. In this case, we would call this the target market. And what I mean by target market is that is the market that the artificial intelligence is going to analyze to figure out those hidden patterns and relationships. All right. Those hidden patterns and relationships are important to what the AI is capable of doing. So it's got to figure those out first. Well, here's some that make complete sense. Alaska Air, SkyWest, right? American Airlines, Delta Airlines. Those are obvious relationships. You could call them competitors. United. If those weren't in here, if the AI wasn't saying that those competitors can influence the price of Southwest Airlines, I would probably doubt it very much. But it does see that. It does understand that, and it's using those relationships, just like Travel and Leisure Magazine, right? That has an impact. Air Lease, right? You probably wouldn't see that stock normally, but the artificial intelligence can see things in the data by finding hidden patterns and relationships that you and I can't see, right? And then it goes even further. Look, here's gold, the euro, natural gas. Now we're getting into markets that you and I certainly wouldn't be looking at to go take a trade on Southwest Airlines. The Treasury, yeah, of course, right? Interest rates can certainly impact an airline as well as probably every other market and stock around the world. Well, the artificial intelligence has figured that out by looking at the open, the high, the low, the close, volume, open interest for all of these markets every single day, actually over 10,000 markets. And it's figured out that these 31 markets on the screen either drive Southwest Airlines up, sideways, or down. That's the kind of analysis that's humanly impossible that AI is capable of, because once it figures out which markets are influencing Southwest Airlines, and then it can figure out the directional bias, each one of these markets is then weighted by degree of impact, how much that asset, that stock, or that market is going to influence Southwest Airlines. The process for doing what I just explained and what you're looking at on the screen, that is a patented process. That is called intermarket analysis, and that's the process we utilize to do everything within the Vantagepoint software. If anybody has any questions about that, or you're looking at this and you're seeing how powerful this is already, and you want to pop something into the questions box, by all means, please do. Also, if you want to dig in a little bit deeper, as Sherry already put it in the chat, easytradingtool.com can get you access to dig in a little bit deeper. Or of course, you can always put your email there in the chat box. I'm happy to reach out to you. But if you take a step back and you really think about the markets being global and interconnected, it's safe to say that this kind of analysis in today's world isn't just a benefit, but it's a necessity, because those relationships are there. They're impacting you right now every single day. They're just hurting you rather than helping you. And this kind of technology, this kind of strategy can change all of that. And I think you can see that right now. If anybody else is seeing that, give me some feedback in the chat box, in the questions box. Let me know if you're looking at this and going, yeah, that not only makes a lot of sense, but I see the value there. Raheem, thank you. Raheem says, Campbell's soup, interesting. You know, that's funny that you picked that one out, because I have no idea how Campbell's soup is influencing Southwest Airlines. And that's the great thing about it. If it was a surface level relationship, something you could see with the naked eye, then you might say, well, they serve Campbell's on Southwest. They don't. This is a hidden relationship that's happening within those data points, something I'll never be able to see. Heck, if we all got together into a room and tried to figure that out, we wouldn't be able to. And that's where the artificial intelligence can do something that is humanly impossible, which is the other point that I'd like to make really quickly, Sherry, is that there's a lot of AI tools out there that are doing something that is convenient, right? Well, if it's convenient, well, it's nice, it's a win. But if it's not doing something that's humanly impossible, like the one you're looking at here, is that convenience really a necessity, or is it just a nice to have? You know the answer to that question. The the nice to have is great, but in a global market, you probably want to cover all the needs and necessities first, and global market analysis can certainly do that. Victor, I see your question. How can AI forecast manipulation of the market? Remember, manipulation of the market, Victor, in your opinion, it impacts price, right? You can tell me whether you agree or disagree with that, but if there's market manipulation happening, what are they manipulating? Price. Okay. Well, what is artificial intelligence in this Vantagepoint software, this patent? What is it reading in order to generate the forecasts? Price. So from a logical standpoint, you can see how powerful this would be. Thank you for that question. I appreciate it. Thank you for being involved too. And that goes for everybody that's writing into the questions box. I appreciate the involvement. Well, let's go to the next step, which is the other half of Victor's question, is how does it even forecast, right? Now we're talking about intermarket analysis, how it's doing its analysis, but how does it use that information to then generate the predictions, and how do you read the predictions? Let's go there next, all right? To do that, let's get a baseline. Look at this chart right here on the screen. If you look at this chart right here on the screen, this is Cisco. Everybody should see that. Do me a favor, in the questions box, tell me which way you would expect Cisco to go by looking at this. Look in the top right corner of the screen. Over the next week or so, would you say that Cisco is expected to go up, sideways, or down? And no answer is a bad answer, by the way. I'm not here to ridicule anybody. This is a learning environment. So if you got to guess, guess. But just take a look at that chart and tell me the direction you would expect it to go. Thank you, Peter. Peter says up. You know, and right now we've got lots of data on Cisco, right? Raheem says was OB will go down. So we've got kind of a mixed bag already. We've got some up, some down. All right, which it's usually the case. And by the way, we're just looking at candlesticks right now. I haven't added any real indicators to this chart, but I'm going to in a second. And the indicators people are usually interested in are things like this: Fibonacci, support and resistance, trend line breakouts, candlestick formations, Bollinger Bands. Maybe you got an investment advisor. You're probably familiar with some of these indicators and tools and resources. It's what's out there for traders. It's what's been out there for traders for decades and decades and decades. And what's unfortunate about these indicators and tools is you end up like this guy right here. I don't know his name, but I like to call him Cliff. This is what you call analysis paralysis. And Sherry, you and a lot of people on this call have probably found themselves in this position before. If you ever watched a sports game where your team is losing really badly, this is like the surrender cobra, the beginning of it, where you got your hands on your head and you can't believe what you just saw. These indicators, unfortunately, do this often. They did it to me, you know, decades ago before I started utilizing the artificial intelligence. But nonetheless, I know this is what's available. This is what's out there. Whether you're using some, all, or just a piece of these indicators, this is what you have at your disposal. So I am going to add them to this chart of Cisco that we were just talking about to help you out to understand which way Cisco is expected to go. I've got MACD, I've got Bollinger Bands, I've got Ichimoku Cloud. What else do I have on here? I've got a couple things here. Stochastic, volume, RSI. I've added these indicators that are available to you everywhere. Those free indicators or the low price indicators out there in the trader sphere, I like to call it. Tell me, which direction would you expect Cisco to go now that you've got some indicators up on the screen? And you can use the questions box and like I say, get involved. You know, that's the only way we learn, is we really get involved. We had a mixed bag before, right? I think we were about 50-50 up versus down. I don't see any new answers coming in at this point, so I would assume there, and you could change your answer if you want to, by the way, but I'll give you guys a second here. I'm gonna grab a drink. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, all right, so safe to say we still have a mixed bag, right? No real definitive way, one way or the other, and I can tell you why that is. I can tell you why nobody is confident enough to say this is the way it's gonna go, and I know it by these indicators. right? It's simply because these indicators, even on different time frames, Victor, are dangerous. They have some fatal flaws. You could look at a 5-minute chart, a 15-minute chart, a tick chart, an hour chart, 4-hour chart, end of day data. You could look at all of that data, but it's only past price data. It's not telling you what's expected to happen. It's telling you what has happened. A tick chart, a 1-second chart told you that happened 1 second ago. It's got to get from the markets to your screen. That happened maybe a split second ago, but it's nothing predictive. Well, that means it has a fatal flaw. Those indicators have 2 fatal flaws, actually. They don't predict the markets. They only tell you what has happened. And we all agreed that the markets were global and interconnected. Well, these indicators are only looking at Cisco. They're not looking at any other asset or anything that's influencing the price of Cisco. And that's why I say they're dangerous, because of those 2 fatal flaws, right? And that's why I'm here today, Sherry, because I want to teach everybody that there's a better way. There are indicators that do both global market analysis and predict where a trend is expected to go. Let me teach those to you right now. All right, if you look on your screen, in the top left corner, you should see a number 1 next to a blue line. That blue line, that's called a predicted moving average, all right? Why is it called a predicted moving average? Is because we also have a patent on transforming lagging indicators into predictive indicators using intermarket analysis. Think back to the last time you heard about a dual patented artificial intelligence tool capable of forecasting trends with accuracy up to 87.4%. There's nobody in the world doing that. And let me show you why we are and how we are, because this is complete transparency here. If you take the calculation for a simple moving average, and I've got it on the screen, and you add up 10 days and you divide by 10, that's going to help you plot a simple moving average. A lot of you are probably using a 20-day, a 50-day, a 100-day, 200-day moving average. Even if you're using an exponential moving average, you're just putting weight on the more recent historical days. Well, what we're doing at Vantagepoint, and what the patent says we're doing, is we've taken some of that historical data, because we don't ever want to forget history. We don't want to forget the past. But then we've done intermarket analysis to figure out the next 3 days of predicted price. Then we add all that up, divide by 10, and you end up with what's called a predicted moving average, in this case, the blue line, which means we've used the artificial intelligence to find those hidden patterns and relationships. We've used the AI to predict price over the next 3 days, and then we've added that predictive price to the formula, completely transforming a lagging indicator into a leading indicator. Do me a favor. If what I just said made you go, now that makes sense and I can see the power, give me some feedback in the questions box. You know, I'm looking for interaction, because my goal is to empower traders and train you what this does, how it does it, and why it does it. Let me know if that training is getting something across to you. I appreciate that. Let's go into the next indicator. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate the feedback. You've been very responsive through this, as well as some of you other. Jerome, I see your comments. Thank you very much. Now, that's just one indicator. Here's the next indicator I want to teach you. It's called the predicted neural index. All right, it's this green and red bar over here. When that bar is green, that bar is telling you that there is short-term strength expected. When it's red, it's telling you there's short-term weakness. It's a strength indicator. Well, here, let me make some notes on this so you can see it. This is a trend predictor, right? It's hard to write with a mouse, so forgive me. I'm just going to write STR. This is a strength predictor over the next 2 days, right? The next 2 days. And then if we take it a step further, here's some momentum indicators. These are called the predictive differences. And they use the artificial intelligence process, the intermarket analysis, to predict 1, 2, and 3 day momentum. And when those lines are pointed up, that's telling you predicted momentum over the next 1, 2, and 3 days is expected to be bullish. So you get a trend predictor, you get a strength predictor, and momentum forecasts all combined together. We even go as far as to predict the next day's high and low. So you get a predicted high and a predicted low in the form of this gray bar for every asset available in the software. And here's the great news. When all of these predictions agree, you end up with something that I like to call total confirmation. And when we're talking about total confirmation, that can bring total confidence when looking for that explosive move that's expected to start tomorrow. So we're going to walk through some charts. I see your question here, Mike. The predicted info is based on old info, so won't it still be lagging? Nope. That's the great thing about this, Mike. The predicted information is based off of the past price data, and then it's based off of the intermarket analysis, and then it's creating the predicted price for tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. The AI is literally predicting that price, doing intermarket analysis, and then those indicators are created. Let me show you. I'm going to show you that right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go right into the software right now and do some more of that on actual forecasts. All right. So when you look at this, yes, there is some seasonality in it, Peter. Yes, absolutely. When you look at this, I want to draw your attention right here. This is a crossover. The blue line is a predicted moving average. The black line is a simple moving average. And when the blue line goes from below the simple moving average and crosses above, that is when the predicted information is valued more than the lagging information. That is the point that this trend is expected to start going up. And that's where the artificial intelligence is saying over the next 3 days, this trend is expected to move higher, right? Well, that's just one indicator. I like to call that your primary care physician, right? If you go to your primary care physician and they say, hey, it's time to have surgery or something's going on, you need to make a change. Well, you're probably not going to just have surgery, right? You're going to go check with a specialist. Here's a predicted neural index. The first thing you do when you see a crossover like that is you look down to say, all right, does the predicted neural index, i.e. the specialist, agree? What you want to see from the strength indicator is green, because the blue line is pointed up saying bullish trend expected. Green is saying bullish strength. And then you go check predicted momentum. This is like going to 3 surgeons and interviewing 3 surgeons, right? Your primary care physician says surgery, the specialist says surgery, and now 3 surgeons all agree surgery. Guess what? I'm having surgery. Not a good thing to have, but you get my point, is that confidence or that confirmation is necessary to create the confidence you need to make tough decisions, right? So you got bullish, bullish, and then 3 momentum indicators saying bullish all at the same time. This is the most recent forecast on Boeing. This is the forecast that's currently happening today. This is the trend that's in effect right as we speak right now. And to yesterday's close, you can see Boeing off of this predicted information is up 25%. 25%, 500 shares or 5 contracts hypothetically could have produced $23,000 in profits to the close yesterday. That's an explosive trade that was identified very, very early on and could have produced some really, really great gains for anybody here. The other thing I want to point out, as long as the blue line stays above the black line, I don't need to look at anything else. Forget this stuff until I get another crossover, right? I don't interview surgeons until my primary care physician says that's something I need to start doing. So as long as the blue line stays above that black line, you can continue with that trend. I even have a little extra helper over here with this predicted high and predicted low. If you look all the way here on the right, you can see that there's a gray bar. That gray bar says 12/8. That's today. This information, by the way, was updated at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time last night. It's end of day data that updates at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. The data comes from this company called Traders Only. Right here at the bottom, Traders Only collects all of that global data and pushes it to the artificial intelligence. So at 6:30 the night before, the artificial intelligence is updated for the next 1 to 3 days. And this is saying, you can see the top of that gray bar has some green on it, saying we could expect prices up around 239, 240 for Boeing today. Well, I'll tell you what, if Boeing can get up there, that's even more gains. Got a question from Jerome. Does it work in Forex and indices? Yes, 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 Jerome. You can see over here on the left, Forex is one of those markets that is forecasted. There's 35 Forex pairs between both major pairs and cross pairs. Matter of fact, I have one we can look at here if we've got some time, my friend. I'll pull it up for you. But I think you're seeing how this can identify explosive moves. Here's another one, Royal Caribbean, right? Are people getting back to cruising? I don't know. But the artificial intelligence said this trend is expected to move higher. The neural index agrees, and the predictive differences are all pointed up going into that day. I've got confirmation on Royal Caribbean. Now, remember, this is after this big downtrend. If we go back to Boeing, you can see the same thing. There was a huge downtrend that took this stock from, it was forecasted down at 234 and then forecasted back up at 183. For anybody that likes to buy puts, short the market, write covered calls, look at this Boeing move to the downside before the artificial intelligence said, okay, now it's time. That happened here in Boeing, and you can see that happen in Royal Caribbean. Same thing. This Royal Caribbean move from the crossover until the close yesterday, let's look. Oh, that's a huge blow, almost 43% gains. Would that be your definition of explosive? Because in my book, it is. It's a hypothetical gain of almost 18,000 bucks with 500 shares or 5 contracts, right? I think you can see now that the artificial intelligence is presenting. By the way, if there's anybody in here that took advantage of any of these trends without the Vantagepoint software, let me know that. Go to the questions box and tell me you traded that. Tell me where you got in and where you got out. I'm always interested in hearing if this is information that, you know, would be helpful, because I've been using it for over a decade. I've helped thousands and thousands of traders change their life from a trading standpoint because of this artificial intelligence, right? Good. I'm glad we're on the same page. Does it also predict the end of the trend? Yes, absolutely. What would predict the end of a trend, Peter? When the blue line crosses back over and says, let's say we got a crossover here. Oh, you know what? I think we've got that here. Where do we have that? Oh, Boeing. Look, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, I can back it up a little bit. This would be the end of a bullish trend, right? Right here, look, blue line cross below, bearish coming. Neural index red, bearish coming. Predictive differences pointed down, bearish coming. Well, if you were long moving into that, you probably wouldn't want to be long after that, but that's up to you, right? That's up to your money management. If you're an investor in Boeing, maybe that's where you start writing some covered calls to mitigate those losses and make some gains, right? Good. So the crossover, Peter, is right here, which means over the next 1 to 3 days, this trend is expected to move higher. The crossover is the forecast. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Now tell me, was that crossover accurate? Did that crossover indicate correctly that the trend was expected to be higher, and did it go higher? Absolutely. Thank you for asking the questions. I've got some other ones in here. Here's Pulte. Oh, this one's got some volatility, some gaps. How many of you would have loved to capture a gap like this? Not only capture a gap like this, because this would have probably flagged for a lot of people to say that there's a bullish trend expected. And yeah, I went bullishly after that. But look what was going on before that gap. That's it. That's a huge move. When we talk about explosions, that's what that gap is like, boom. I mean, to the close yesterday. Now this trend is obviously fading on another 44%. Hopefully somebody's keeping track of these, because these are some big, I like to call them bangers. But if you look at the right-hand side, this one is losing some steam. We're even expecting a lower to low today on Planet Fitness. And that's the benefit of these four. Oh, look at this. The neural index is red. The predictive differences are now pointed down. I'm starting to see things shift on Planet Fitness, which means I could tighten my stops. I could use that predicted low as a potential stop loss. I could exit that position and lock in 40% gains. The decision to make the trade and how you trade it is up to you. The artificial intelligence in this example and all these examples and what we've been doing for decades is telling you what the market is expected to do. It's not telling you what to do with your money. Nobody cares more about your money than you. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but if you know what the market is expected to do with accuracy up to 87.4%, I bet you'd find a way to make some pretty good decisions using that information, right? Here's some other ones. Pulte Homes. The housing market is condensing and consolidating in a lot of areas. Pulte Homes is a home builder. Would anybody have identified a big trend in a home builder like this? Probably not, because you're using fundamental information to make that decision. The artificial intelligence doesn't care about that. The artificial intelligence has no feelings about what's going on in the world. It's just looking for the hidden patterns and relationships and using that to its advantage. That's over 30% gains up to the close today. And Vantagepoint, look, let's read the right-hand side of the chart. A lot of people always say, well, Daniel, read the right-hand side because I want to see what's going on right now. At 6:30 last night, I had this information and I was looking at it saying, yep, Pulte's expected to go higher. And here's how I knew. The blue line is still above the black line and the gap between the blue and the black line is widening. The neural index is still green. Momentum over the next 1, 2, and 3 days is still expected to be higher. The predicted high is expected to be over 95 and the predicted low is expected to be higher than the previous day's low. 100% of my predictive indicators generated from the AI, and by the way, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 predictive indicators generated from the artificial intelligence, all saying bullish about Pulte. Well, yesterday Pulte Homes closed at where? Close was 94.46. I'm just going to go Google Pulte Homes price, Homes stock price, so I can bring it on the screen here. Here you go, just a quick Google. It's up almost $1 today at 95.20. 95.20. I just did a quick Google. 95.20. Vantagepoint predicted a high of 95.27. Look, here you go. Follow my arrow. Follow the line. Here's the predicted high for today. 95.27. The high so far today was 95.52. Could you imagine having that kind of accuracy day in and day out? Look, I've got it, so I know how powerful it is. Just think about what this could do for your trading. NVIDIA, right? Did Vantagepoint forecast NVIDIA to contract? Yes, back on 11/22. No question about it. You can see the big uptrend, reversal to the downtrend. The questions I always get are about Apple, right? Did Vantagepoint know Apple was going to go on the trend like it did? Well, 11/1, Vantagepoint forecasted Apple up from 11/1 until the close yesterday. Where is Apple? Let's see. Is this explosive? Absolutely, 0.5% a day, right? That's the key here. These are things you're probably trading. Maybe you traded them recently, maybe you didn't. Here's Verizon. Here's the explosion. This is what we're talking about, right? Crossover, neural index, predictive differences. 1, 2, boom, explosion in Verizon. The artificial intelligence is very, very powerful. And what I'm teaching you is how to use it. You just go through a very simple process. Find the crossover, step 1. Step 2, check the neural index, see if it agrees. Step 3, make sure the predictive differences that are predicting momentum over the next few days are also in agreement. Step 4, check your trade plan, right? I'm not telling you to blindly trade this. Check your trade plan and make sure this opportunity matches your trade plan and your risk tolerances. Then at that point, you can make a decision. And as long as that blue line stays above the black line, you could ride that trend until it doesn't. There's another over 20% gain. Peter's got a question, what to do if the difference is going down and the blue line stays above? You know, Peter, that's a great question. All that means is momentum is shifting. But look, I'll show you a great spot where that's happening, right? Some of you might look at this chart and say the blue line is clearly going down right here. Fine. That's telling you that price is expected to stabilize. We could even see it stabilizing back here. When the blue line starts going sideways across your screen, what I'm expecting is consolidation in the trend, not a reversal. Remember, there's a difference between pullback, dip, consolidation. There's always going to be down days and up trends. When that blue line moves sideways, it's saying, okay, consolidation expected. 1, 2, 3 days of consolidation. And then that blue line starts moving back up again. Oh, that consolidation has come to an end. 1, 2, 3 days, price is higher. What you're looking for, Peter, is that crossover. That's where the AI is convinced that the predictive nature of this artificial intelligence saying the trend is expected to change. Some of you were asking about futures. Here's that treasury bond trade I was talking about, right? Oh, let me point this out to you. We want confirmation. This crossover is not an actionable crossover in my book. Why? When I look and I go to the specialist doesn't agree. Fine, I don't have to overthink it. The next day, the blue line is above, the neural index now agrees, and the predictive differences are pointed higher. So what? Okay, I missed out on one day. That is perfectly okay. Why? Because I'm managing my risk by using confirmation, right? Good. Hopefully everybody understood what I meant by that, because you can see it. Options traders, yes, absolutely. Look what happens. You get a crossover, right? Stick with me here. Blue line crosses above, neural index is green, predictive difference is moving higher. This is McDonald's, a very optionable stock. That's the point where I say, you know what? I'm going to go buy 5 calls on McDonald's. I'm going to set my expiration out 60 days to give that option enough time to mature, and reduce, you know, the time decay. Theta can hurt you if you don't know how to use it to your advantage. So I set my expiration out 60 days. I use that predicted high and low to set a very good strike price. I could probably use an in the money strike at 250. And as long as that blue line stays above the black line, I can ride that trend. As long as that blue line crosses below, when that happens, I can strike early, take my profits. I don't have to hold an option to expiration. I can use it how I want to use it because it's telling me what the markets are expected to do. So yes, options traders love Vantagepoint. Here's the SPY. Right, a lot of traders are saying, "Oh, here comes that reversal. Here comes the crash on the SPY with this consolidation." The artificial intelligence wasn't faked out. The blue line never crossed below the black line. Go look at what happened in the last couple of days in the SPY. Profits on profits on profits. Right? Options traders love trading the SPY too, Peter. I don't know if you traded or not, but just look at that gain right here in one trend alone on the SPY. Yes, absolutely. I will certainly give everybody the opportunity to get Vantagepoint. If you so choose, you could get access to this information and use it day in and day out. But before I do that, Bitcoin. Why? Because people say it's so volatile, it's unpredictable. Well, check out this trend. Did anybody think that Bitcoin was going to increase by almost 60%? And I'll tell you, yes, the AI did back here. Look at that. Total confirmation, a very clear, and even if you don't trade Bitcoin and you trade ETFs, here's Bitcoin Trust, GBTC. This is how you can trade Bitcoin in your stock account by using a fund, using an ETF to get the same kind of move, not a 60% move, but the same kind of move as you would get in the coin itself. 76% gain in 47 trading days since Vantagepoint forecasted GBTC up. This is a Bitcoin ETF that has produced massive gains. Last one, because somebody was asking about Forex. Where is it? Here you go. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar pair, right? Very, very powerful. And you can see that trend. It's an easy way. That's why if you want more information or you want to dig in deeper, you can go to easytradingtool.com because this is an easy way to use artificial intelligence to your advantage. That's 337 pips for you Forex traders. That's an explosive move that I'm sure you'd love to have at your disposal. So let me show you everybody how you can get this information and use it day in and day out because I just looked at the clock and I'm running out of time. We do have a package for everybody here, Sherry, so that everybody can take advantage of this information. If you want to, in the package that I put together for everybody, you can get access to a 1-year license of Vantagepoint. For the first 3 weeks, I'll give you access to every asset, every stock, every Forex pair, every futures market available in the software for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, you just pick one sector of your choice. The technology sector, right? It's got NVIDIA and Apple. The technology sector has the most forecasts in it. You'll be able to keep that sector for an entire year. That's over 200 individual forecasts. Yes, Sam, there is a scanner called IntelliScan. IntelliScan is something that'll go and find the crossover for you. It'll find where you got confirmation and it'll present you the list of stocks that meet your criteria that day. Absolutely. It's called IntelliScan. We'll even give you a quick start guide so you can get up and running very quickly. I will enroll you in Vantagepoint University, which has on-demand videos, bi-weekly market updates, live group training 3 to 4 times a week, so you can continue to, develop your expertise with this artificial intelligence. I will even assign you a software coach, somebody to work with you one-on-one for the first 6 months. You're not going to need 6 months, but we want to make sure you have all the education you need, and I will prove to you you're not going to need 6 months. Here is the same Cisco chart, but in Vantagepoint this time. The blue line's crossing below, the neural index is red, and the predictive differences are pointing down. What direction would you expect Cisco to go in the future if you had this kind of information? Go to the questions box really quickly and tell me up, sideways, or down. We were about 50-50. We had a mixed bag earlier, so I'm interested in seeing if this AI was beneficial. Peter says down, Raheem says down. We're at 100% down, guys. Down, down. Anybody else want to throw their answer into the ring? Sam says down. 100% of the people now say Cisco is down. That's a big improvement from 50-50. Well, I'm here to tell you, you know how to use this already, because that went down, 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 and you would have avoided a 10% drawdown. You could have written some covered calls or shorted that or bought some puts, however you trade it, by using these indicators. That's the difference. You just experience how powerful artificial intelligence can be to take your trading to the next level. So here's the package. Normally that one sector is $2,900, Sherry. You can get access to online university for $9.95, and the value of the expert coaching, I have it way undervalued. I mean, expert coaching is probably like $5,000, $10,000. I've got it valued at $12.95. You can get that anytime you want. Its list price is $5,190. If you're in this session and because you're part of this webinar today with Traders Exclusive, you can get it right now for $14.97. And Sherry just dropped the order link in the chat, so you can click on that and order. Or if you've got questions, enter it in the questions box. We're here to help any way, shape, or form we can, but you can get access to all the predictive indicators I just taught you just now for an entire year for $14.97. And when you think about the potential that this could bring to you, you could probably see yourself recouping that very quickly. I'm not guaranteeing that, but it's easy to see where it's possible, I believe, if you ask yourself. Now, one last thing before I go, because you've just listened to me talk, but I want to show you what others are saying. Traders World, Traders Magazine, Stocks and Commodities, they've all reviews this. Market Technicians Association, they write the rules for technical analysts. They said that this is very powerful and works, and you can see Trading Edge even did a 4-year study. It's been helping traders for decades and has the opportunity to help you. If you want it to, let us know. Happy to help.
Pretty perfect there. Any last questions, guys? Down, down, down. Okay, anybody else? Oh.
I appreciate you giving me the time today, Sherry. It was a pleasure getting a chance to present for everybody here at Traders Exclusive. If anybody has any questions, you can go to easytradingtool.com and get signed up, and we can dig in deeper. If you're ready to join the Vantagepoint family, click on that link that Sherry just put in the chat. It's vpai.us stock, and you can get that $14.97 investment. As a matter of fact, we even have lifetime packages. If you don't want the 1 year, just reach out to us. My phone number is 1-800-732-5407. 1-800-732-5407. You can give us a call. Happy to answer your questions as well.
You did have a question about whether there's any payment plan.
Payment plans, usually the way people use payment plans to get the $14.97 is use a credit card. Most people put it on a credit card, and then you can just pay, what's your card payment, 2% or something like that. That's the easiest way to go about it. This way you manage your own financing and you get full access to that 1-year license.
There you go. All right. Well, Daniel, I really appreciate it. It was great to meet you. We want to thank Vantagepoint for sponsoring for December, and we hope you'll come back again and do it again in 2024.
Would love to. Thank you, Sherry.
All right, guys. If you have any questions now, how do they get in touch with you to support at Vantagepoint?
You get in touch with us if they got questions. 1-800-732. I see that number's a little bit wrong. Let me.
You said 7-300.
732-5407. There we go.
5407. There. Okay. You did it.
Perfect. You can do that, or you can click on that link and fill up the form. The link is easytradingtool.com. A lot of ways to get a hold of us. We're happy to help.